Ohio Ghost Town's back here again for now a trifecta. You see it, Salem Church, here out in the middle of absolute, more or less, nowhere. There is an independent stave factory, or whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it, out here nearby. And it's fairly large. This is the cemetery, a cemetery, the Salem Cemetery on Salem Road. Nothing to do with Salem's Lot. If you got that joke, man, my God, you are old. Yeah, you are old. Okay. So here's, I swear these aren't my socks. Although they could be. It looks a lot like what I got on. So, I'll give you a quick pan. Oh, shit. Somebody got that door open over there. I ain't gonna touch it though, because God knows somehow I get blamed for it. Large tree trunk. And here it is, Salem Church. Now, this place, first off, is where some of the people from the Berlin Heights battlefield, the Battle of Berlin Heights, are buried. There are several of them buried here, and maybe some other stuff as well. So, and then as you can see, it's actually quite, for a place like this, the history it's got a long time ago, it actually got quite a few burials. There's a lot of modern burials out here of the later day here, probably because I would guess I'm certainly not talking trash, but I'm guessing it's probably because it's pretty cheap. Can't imagine that there's a whole lot of competition coming all the way out here. So we are still in Milton Township here, nearish Wellston, Ohio. Here is the infamously haunted Salem Church. Now, here's the legend of Salem Church that is still known to this day, and it's probably why they have a couple of beer cans out here in the parking lot, because people had to work up the guts to do this. So, the local legend is that a Confederate soldier died in that church, which I've never been in. I'm not sure. It's got a padlock on it, master lock. I don't know if that place is open at all anymore. They do have looks like they got a utility, a utility deal right there. I'll tell you what, the fact that I am so well, a lot of fancy words that I know. Okay, so here it is. This place, here's the legend. So like I said, supposedly a Confederate soldier died in there while he was wounded at the Battle of Berlin Heights. He was transported here and died. And legend has it that if you come here and knock on that blue door right there about midnight, or right on midnight, I believe is the legend. You go, and then watch someone knock back just to help. I'll be running away from here screaming. See? Okay. Now, you do that at midnight. Apparently, sometimes the Confederate soldier will knock back. Which I don't know why he would if he's in there dying, or whatever. But supposedly he will occasionally knock back. I have brought my daughter out here, and last year, I think it was last year. Brought my daughter out here and had her do it, and of course, being a very young girl, she wanted to do it, but she wanted me to do it, and I refused to do it. And she did get the guts up to do it. You could tell she was. It was a challenge, but she did it, and of course nothing happened. Now, if you look up here, that should give away the game to everybody, but for some reason it doesn't. It says Salem Church, built 1915, remodeled 1992. Now it says it was established, it looks like in 1834 or something, but I don't think, matter of fact, I'm almost positive that this place was here for a Confederate soldier to die in, unless he decided to hang around for a few decades and he died of old age in there somehow. So just like a lot of these ghost stories, there's just not much to them. Matter of fact, to this one, it doesn't seem like there's anything to it. But it is what it is. And this is an actual cemetery. If you're a pedant like me, who gets irritated by small, meaningless things. Oh, look at that. Gets irritated by small and meaningless things. A graveyard is a cemetery without a church. A graveyard is a graveyard is a place that has graves without a church. A cemetery is a place that has graves with a church. That's the dividing line, so to speak. Been out here before, and I didn't notice that these were old railroad ties. Now, you got to say, they never throw anything away in southern communities. They reused it well. They've definitely got their money out of it. That's solid. Those things will be here after I'm gone. They've been here since a lot of people's gone. So I'm going to take a quick trip. Usually I'm pretty thorough about these things. Vandalism. I'm pretty thorough about these things, but this is just way too much. There's just way too much here to Copus. There. So I'm going to take a little quick trip around the grounds here, and we'll see what we can see here real fast. Hopefully I won't run into somebody that I once upon a time knew and finds out that they're here, and that's hitting close to home. That guy would have been woman would not have been much older than me right now. So, not cool, man. And of course, the ever-present daffodil. So, we want to take a quick walk through here. See what's going on. Obviously, some of these are new. Because they would not look like that if they were over 130 years old. Just too many. Looks like a bunch of Hollings heads. Oh, you can't hold it against the graveyard, right? Okay. "43rd Ohio Infantry." That guy right there was a Civil War soldier. So, here we are. This is what it is. So, I'm going to take a quick trip through this place. I walked this with my little girl a while back. We were out here a couple times. Walked it during the day after we got back from Moonville. So I walked her all the way out from Moonville Tunnel to Ingham Station. And then there you go, another one. I told you, there's a lot of guys that died in that battle that are buried here. Looks like some kind of a trash can over there of some sort. But here we have all of this. So, yeah, this place has long been rumored to be extremely haunted. Some kind of a retaining wall. Okay. Call that a wall. And as you can see over here, there's a bunch of much more recent burials. Over this way. 2017, 2009, you know. So, there's a lot of them out here. So we'll go out here a little ways. That's spooky. So, okay, Williams purse. This is this side of things. And then over here, of course, is the more ancient side of things. So we're going to head back over this way. He didn't die in the battle, although he wasn't very old. He's 51. 78 Ohio Infantry. That would have been during the Civil War. Well, Mary, daughter of N.E. Yerington, 2 years, 3 months. So, and this is going to be part of the reason. There's a lot of them out here. And it was a time period, just what it was. There was a lot of death. Lots and lots and lots of death. Henry McNeil, 78th Ohio Infantry, Company B. He's a bugle boy from Company B. The boogie woogie bugle boy. All right. I think. All children. I do it to myself, don't I? I do it to myself. So, shame on me now. But this is now the back of the church back there. 95 years. Thomas Alston died on January 20th, 1893. 95 years, 2 months, 210, I don't know. I think 210 days. That lad was almost 96. Which back then would have made him nearly a demigod of longevity. You do see him out here like that every once in a while. And it's a biological wonder. I guess that whiskey and hard work helped out for some of them, huh? Once again, fellas, ladies and gents, I'm sorry for stepping over your bodies. I got a 1844. Wow. So, as you can see, there's burials back here from the settler days. Lots of them. Not sure if there's anything. Not sure if there's much of anything else back here. I don't think it goes back any farther than that. A lot of these people were born back in the pioneer days, but they died in the settler days. So we have here an indention where a coffin fell in after all these centuries. Actually, it's like 2 of them. And then somebody came out here and broke that, and someone decided to put it back up. As you would, I suppose. Now, this is mildly amazing. I don't know how you would shift a rock that size off. You'd need some help. And of course, more daffodils. So, quickly moving on here. What's that? Oh. So John and Gary Kamek, who did a pretty good little run, and it appears to be maybe the original spot. And then there's the letter marker for this part of the cemetery. There's Kamek, whatever. all over this place. I've seen them up there by closer to the church. Some little family plot here. Young guy, young man. At least he got some time out here. Of course, there is. This is a place I've mentioned previously that there are some rather big monuments for children. I said in the Lemur Cemetery video, Tom Corwin Lemur Cemetery video, I've said that one of them out here is a doctor. This is the child of Dr. So-and-so. And of course, he had the money that he could make a huge buy one, have one made for him. Another one of these, got some class. Interesting as far as these things go. Someone chiseled, well, no, I got someone knocked that one over and then got rid of it. So it looks like he was about 6 years old. Well, so moving on, we will continue to move on, just like life. This looks like a stone chair in my grandmother's grandparents' house. They had outside, bench, whatever you want to call it. Let me see, bunch of kids? Yep. Perkins. Looks like one of them made it to maybe a year. World War I vet right here. Those are new. I like that. I do appreciate that somebody decided to come out here and give these poor kids something you can actually see. Another kid, Irwin, with an eye. Woman. Private first class, U.S. Army. Would have been World War II, or no? I guess it would have been Vietnam, maybe. A heart of gold stopped beating, two shining eyes at rest. God broke our hearts to prove he only takes the best. Well, I guess that means that one of these days I'll be the best too. Because we're all going to die. You can tell it goes out there quite a ways. It's spread out a lot. Probably that half of these aren't even marked. Because they couldn't mark them. They couldn't. They couldn't. They don't have anything to mark them with. Didn't have the money. Just brought them out here and to plant them. Some leech. Looks like some leeches. World War II vet. So here we are. This is Salem Cemetery. We're almost 19 minutes in. Haven't really accomplished much of anything. Not that that matters. We don't ever accomplish anything here at Ohio Ghost Towns. We're chasing down places that don't even exist anymore. So, not the best use of time, I suppose, but it's mine to burn. So here we are. World War I, 2nd West Virginia Cavalry, Benjamin Kaiser. So, Wilkie, I think. Go over here and see what this guy, where he was. Corporal, I'm not sure, F-134 Field Artillery, World War I. Didn't die in World War I, though. Had a pretty good run. So, Perkins over there has got something as well. So, there's a lot of Wilkies here. But I've never even heard of the last name. So, must not be around here anymore. But yeah, we'll go over here to this place real quick. Another family plot. Now, here it is, AE2 U.S. Navy. Now, I just wonder about spots like this, because this guy has been here for basically 15 years. And for some reason, the grass isn't growing. Now, I would never insult somebody who's dead and ain't here to defend himself. But you have to wonder, is it someone doing that on purpose to make some point? I don't know. I'm not saying anything. I don't know the guy. So, private U.S. Army. Let's see here. Huh. There's not a kid's burial here. These are all adults. Huh. All right then. Well, sometimes you'll have that, I guess. I think this guy liked his cars. Or he liked miniature cars, Hot Wheels. Who knows? Huh. All right. So we'll go on a little bit farther. Now I'm going to beat a hasty retreat. Depends upon my luck, I might be able to go back and go in one more place that is somewhat interesting. Now this is interesting. Somebody is trying to let you know not to walk on Granny's grave here. Rhonda Duncan. Sounds familiar, but I don't know. This is... Ooh. What's this? I'm not trying to make anybody mad here when I said ooh, but this looks like a fairly recent deposit. And beside Irma Leach, who's been here a while. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is. Sandra Young. Yeah, she's... Ooh. It's this year. And wordless, you can... Okay, well. All right, then. So, like I said, mean no insult, but just, you know, I don't know. And there it is. So if you've heard of Salem Cemetery, but you haven't ever been out here for one reason or another, maybe you don't have the guts. if you don't have the guts or something, to come out here because you've been spooked by all the ghost stories of the place. Delbert Baldwin, and then here you got this huge tree right beside him. Makes you wonder. Now you kind of get the feeling of the place here. World War II vet. Imagine it would be Frank. But there we go. So this is full of war vets because this area has a lot of them. As a matter of fact, my grandfather served lots of lunches and dinners and breakfasts in World War II in California. You can smell the sawdust from here, from that Independent Stave place. Guess it could be worse. The ubiquitous daffodil. The ubiquitous Southern Ohio daffodil. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to try to go to one more place if I got the light to burn. Thankfully, there's another place I'm going to, which will be in a totally separate video. It has nothing to do with this, so I'm not going to put it in there with this, but it has its own little bit of history. If you're a citizen of the booming town of Jackson, you will know where it is as soon as I turn the camera on. So we will see. So here we go. Okay. Back to the parking lot to leave. So I'm going to go ahead and walk this place on back, and excuse me. It's cold out here. I'm not crying. I do that off camera. Well, let's see. Now, what kind of chuckle-headed fuck would do that? They try to topple it? Or did it just, I don't know. I can't get it back. I think it's been there for a while. I don't understand that, but whatever. I tried to turn it up right, buddy. Sorry. So, this has been a fairly decent tour of Salem Cemetery with some background on this place as well. And here we will end up on this. The Southern Cross of Honor. Deo Vindice, I think, 1861-1865, in memory of the unknown Confederate soldiers who served under General John Hunt Morgan and died July 17, 1863, at the Battle of Berlin Heights, Berlin Crossroads, Ohio. Confederate States of America. I mean, the Iron Cross there. So, there you go. It's interesting that they would honor the dead of, and then these are on right here. That's weird. Well, I don't know if maybe there's a bunch of unmarked burials in here and they just kind of put them up there or what. Looks like they all got a couple of years on them. And of course, you can tell the old stuff from the new. Those are railroad ties. But they back in the day, they honored the opposing fighters, I suppose. Maybe out of respect. Maybe I don't know. If they were dead, they came here long away from home and died, far from their family, never to see them again. A lot of these people, their family would just have to assume that something happened to them. Because either something happened to them or they just decided never to come back and never to see their family again. So I imagine it was probably more comforting to think that they died. But maybe that was part of the reason why these people back in those days did what they did, even with people who were trying to kill them, literally hours or days before they interred them. Some touch of sentimentality about, hey, we're all human at the end of the day. We were all Americans. It was a brother versus brother war almost. And matter of fact, they might have even called it that. So they gave him a decent send-off. I don't think that would happen today. I think that even though our lives are much softer and easier, we're a lot meaner for it. I do believe that there is a certain amount of getting your ass kicked around and struggle that humanizes you to a degree. And these people certainly saw a lot of death. They, oh, wait a minute, what's that over there? Just a piece of that? Okay, all right, look at that. Look at that. They just cut that section off, stuck an air conditioning in it, just laid it there. And who knows how long it's been there. It'll probably be there for years. Random thing for me to pick up. Got the attention span of a squirrel. What was I saying? But I think that the easiness, the luxury, if you even will, of modern days, where today many poor people are fat or overweight. I'm not talking about myself here, but I may be included in that. But we live in a state of luxury at this time compared to pretty much any time in history. Matter of fact, any time in history. And I think we're a lot meaner for it. I think that, and not that I would want the days of struggle and hunger and everything to come back. I don't. But I think that when you grew up and knew how lucky you were to make it beyond 5, beyond 18, that you've seen so many of your family members of your age, younger, die just out of nowhere. It doesn't make sense. It didn't seem right. Maybe your family member was a better person than you, a nicer person, more decent, and you've seen them suffer and die, and watch it tear everybody up, never be the same. I think that it created a certain respect, a certain frame of mind that we don't have much of anymore, as well as letting you know that your time was yours, but you only had a little bit of it, and it made no sense. You probably didn't even try to make sense of it, but the tragedies of what happened and befell people all around you until it befell you. So, it is what it is. The impermanence of life is the only thing that you can be assured of anymore, ever have been, is that you will die. And these places right here are full of people who once lived and are no longer around. But that's life. That's how always been life. I've read books from guys that's been dead 2,000, 5,000 years. They once were and then they weren't. And that's just the way it is. So you try to grip the sweet vine of youth and the sweet vine of life and make the most of it, what you can, and do what you can, and try to be a better person whenever they lay you in one of these places than when you started. So, but that is what it is. I can remember watching World War II documentaries about World War II, where people had said that, in this case, it was working in the Nazis. These people had said that they worked at one of the major buildings, one of the major areas of the Nazi regime, that they always made dinner and lunch and stuff like that was always made no matter what, because you never knew who would pop in. So you wanted them to be able to have something, right? So after these, so every day what wasn't eaten or wasn't eaten at all, these people would gorge themselves on and then take a lot of it home with them, and no one cared, because back then in the 30s and 40s it was a big deal, and you didn't want to waste it, and no one wanted to deny somebody something like that when it wasn't going to do anything for them anyway. So I can remember many people over these videos saying that when they were working there and were able to go and just gorge themselves on these feasts, it was the only time in their life that they had been so full that they didn't want to eat anything else. Now, yes, that is 80 years ago, more or less, and longer now. But it shows you exactly how tough things were up until here, absolutely fairly recently. There are plenty of people still around that were at least born and lived some of that time, didn't understand it or know it, but they are people from that time. There still are around, and their parents grew up and were hungry regularly, and knew hunger like the people 500 years before them in a much different time. I heard stories from my grandparents about not having enough to eat when they were kids and stuff like that. So, something now that is taken fairly for granted, you go down to the gas station or something, eat a whole bunch of chips and, whatever, and pound down a liter of Pepsi and stuff like that, and go play your video game. This is not from personal experience, I assure you. And all that, and you just take it for granted. Whereas back in the day, to gorge yourself was something that most people never did. Because if these people grow over there in large towns and in Europe and stuff like that, if they had never gorged themselves, they've been able to fill themselves up really full. You can't imagine what it was in other places, and before that, forget about it. So we live in a luxurious time. We should be probably a lot nicer to each other because of the fact that we have so little to worry about in so many ways, but we're not. And I guess that's just kind of the how what Kant said. From the crooked timber of humanity, nothing straight shall ever be made. And unfortunately, I think he's right. Other than small communities, small groups of people, maybe even just between a couple of people, he was right. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's just the way it is. It's a fight you can't win, and there's nothing you can do to change it. It's just the way it was, just the way it is, and just the way it always will be. So if you find yourself like me, where I'm in a pretty happy spot in life overall, and appreciative of the things that I have, and knowing that it will end for me as well, maybe you don't have to go around being nice or being a sucker or anything else like that, but maybe appreciate what you got, and know that it could be a whole lot worse. It could be a lot worse. So on that pseudo-philosophical, somewhat depressing note, as I try to reach out and connect with you, I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here on a somewhat happy note, I guess. So enjoy it, have fun, be young, drink Pepsi, all that good stuff, and just have a great day.